Hello everybody, this is a video I made today for making a spawning mop. So what it's going to show is, pretty much how I made it. So if I do a little intro, it took me a little time. Actually I made quite a few of them today. I think I made about 8, just so I can get that whole ball of yarn up, but I rest of it up. And I, figure I'd do it, get it done out of the way, just one of the projects that were there. So, alright everybody, enjoy watching the video. Thank you for watching. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to show you how I make the spawning mop. So that's an end result. But the supplies that I use is a piece of wood. You can use cardboard, a notebook, whatever you can use. What I did is I made this one 16 inches for a 29-gallon tank with about an inch or so, inch to 2 inches of substrate. And then I cut a piece of string, piece of yarn, and this is synthetic yarn. You don't have to boil it, but I recommend rinsing it so if there's any dust or anything off on it. Some fishing line, and I'll show you what I do with that at the end. And I use 2 wine corks. People use bobbers, people use 1, but I like to use 2 because I've used 1 before, and it was in a 55-gallon, so it was a lot more yarn. The more yarn you use, probably best to use like 2 corks. And that is what I use to make my spawning mops. And I'll do it in steps, show you videos, sections of it, and how I do it. Alright, stay tuned. So in this step of winding it around the piece of wood, you can do this 2 different ways. 2 different ways. With using a piece of wood, you can put the piece of yarn that you're going to tie it together in between right there. And as you're winding it up, it stays in there. Then when you're done, just bring it up around, tie it while it's on the piece of wood, and slide it off. And then that's what I do for that step. And I will wind it around about 100 times because it seems to be thicker. A lot of people do it from 50 to 100. I like 100 because you get more of a thicker mop than you do if you go half that or quarter that. But it's all in your own personal preference. Alright, get ready for the next step. Once you get it off of the piece of wood, notebook, cardboard, whatever you're using to make your spawning mops, I use that same piece of string that I showed you in the previous clip, put 2 corks down, and I just tied them on it. Then you just flip it around, pick it up, and then I take pick it up, and then I take another piece of string, and what I do is I wrap it around, make it nice and tight. Then you have the little ball on top with the 2 corks in there. And then I take a piece of fishing line and I attach it to that part of the string. And then I'll wash it out and I'll put it in the tank. And I'll show you why I use fishing line. Alright. So I put in my 29-gallon tank with my Madagascar rainbows. Little hiding spot for it. As soon as I put in there, weird thing was they already started doing breeding activity. But the reason for the fishing line and the tape is so it doesn't float away. Because when you first put it in the tank, it floats till all the air gets out of the yarn. Kind of like, like your cholo wood or your driftwood. Has to get waterlogged too. The reason why I don't boil it like some other people, it's synthetic yarn. And it will not, the dye will not come out into your water column. But if it's wool and other stuff like that, I would boil it because of the dye. So some people do, some people don't. It's your preference. So I just put it in there. After a couple days, it'll all come down and just hang down in there. I'll leave it in there for a few days, pull it out, see if there's any eggs or not, and then put it back in. And then I'll start beefing them up. I just want them to get used to it being there, because it's something new for them. I never did it with these fish before. Alright, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day for watching my video. And I appreciate your support. You all have a good night. And have a good day tomorrow. Alright, goodbye.